Hello YouTube and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching this 7 Days to Die guide. I'm going to discuss a little bit about the game at the beginning, and then I'm going to give you 7 days on what I feel like is a good survival guide to get you through and a good basis on where to start. First off, let me say thank you to Heisenblog for the recommendation, and I must say I've thoroughly enjoyed playing this game so far. Now there is a lot more into it than the first 7 days, however I thought let's get ourselves a bit of a survival guide going and what I think is a good basis on where to start and how to keep yourself alive when the 7th day hits and ultimately you get the mob turn up who just want to murder you basically. First off, the game is still in alpha phase. It's having a lot of updates on the PC, which are obviously being filtered down to the console, so there's still quite a lot to come. You do get a bit of a sneak peek on the PC if you do have the PC version of it. Otherwise, you just have to wait until it comes onto the console. But still, the game is brilliant. It's got everything I expected from what I was looking for, which basically I asked for a survival building type game, and this game certainly delivers. Now, as you notice through this video, you will see some glitching and some lagging. That isn't my settings, that's unfortunately the game. It does take a lot of reloading for some reason, and it lags the game out quite considerably. Now, that aside, you can work with that. I mean, it does make it a little bit harder when you're trying to take on the zombies, but it's certainly nothing to be shy about. Now, the first thing you want to be doing when you get into this game is you want to be getting some materials going. First off, you're going to need your stone and wood to be able to get yourself a little axe. That is crucial to start off with, because if you start battering things with your fist, it's going to take quite a while to do anything really. Now, obviously, that axe will double up as your temporary weapon for the time being. It's not brilliant. It's a good start though. I know you want to be doing really at the start is gathering as much materials as possible. The 3 materials you do need is wood, stone and plant fibre. Plant fibre, just punch it, it's on the ground, it looks like grass. I mean, even if you hit cotton and stuff like that, they will give you plant fibres. Your ideal is to get cacti if you find them. Use your axe, hit them, it gives you a yucca plant, which is really good for keeping you healed and your energy up, and also gives you plant fibres as well, quite a lot of plant fibres per cactus. So what do you need it for? Well, basically you're going to need something to house yourself on the first night, and then you're going to want to start exploring. Now this guy's going to be a bit lengthy on a lot of repeats and stuff like that, but you'll understand when you start playing the game yourself why there is so much repeating. Basically, you're going to need a fuck ton of these resources. So even if you spend a while doing it, you know, don't feel like, oh, you know, have I got enough? You've never got enough. You need to get yourself as much as possible, because obviously your wood's used for your fuel, for ultimately your campfire and your forge. Obviously you got coal as well, but bullet straight away. Your wood's used in pretty much most of the recipes you're going to be using over the first 7 days, and wood's also used for your base as well. We will go on to that very shortly and you will understand what I mean. I do like how when you're breaking down things like the wood and the ground, it looks almost like you're moving, but it's warping it. And it shows obviously you've taken it away and then it breaks off, such as it's just done there. It's a good little touch to the game, because obviously when you're hitting a rock, it's not going to stay in one piece, and this game's kind of portraying that by warping the rock into itself. So it's a good little touch. Now when you first started, obviously you've got nothing, you're in your boxes basically. But zombies do take a moment to spawn, so you've got a few moments to get yourself orientated and check out things, and obviously kind of get your bearings really. So it's a good time to have a look and get resources without being hindered. Always keep your ears out. Obviously, they do appear sometimes right next to you. I have had a few occasions where they've just appeared and then they've started hitting me. If you get hit, you're more than likely to get stunned at this stage. If you're stunned, then they will just swamp you. Now, thankfully, at this low level, you usually find only 1 or 2 zombies. You're not really going to get many mobs of them. Now, on the side of what you're doing, obviously you've got a quest. I won't say necessarily to smash the quest out. Certainly if you've done it before and you know what the quest entails, which obviously by watching this video you will do, try and target doing the quest in order. So basically one of the missions is to get a bedroll. I don't do a bedroll until the base is built, which means that obviously your things like you're doing your wood frames, doing your axes and stuff like that, all the things they're not being completed, but don't worry too much about that. The only thing I did wait for was the campfire, really, because you don't need it until later on, and that quest does appear. This stuff as well, get it where you can. Sulfate, it's as it sounds, it provides gunpowder, which no use right now, but it'll be a pain in the ass to try and find it later, so it's just good to obviously collect it while you can now. Obviously favour your normal stuff like your wood and your stone over that, but leave a marker down if you need to, if you want to come back to it later. But what you want to be doing is you want to be getting your wood up, you want to be getting your rock up, your various other stuff like that, because when we rest later we're going to be building a crap ton of axes, because this game's leveling system is a bit weird. So basically it levels up certain like classifications of things. So mining tools is one thing, you know, your weapon tools are another thing, and as you level up each axe, when you get your basically we'll call it a level 2 axe, which is your fire axe, it will be of a higher grade and a higher level as soon as you start, which means it lasts longer, it knocks wood down longer and stuff like that. So you're going to be building a lot of the standard stuff to obviously upgrade stuff for later. So obviously here we're just collecting more plant fibers, so let's have a look at the later parts of day 1. So as you can see, you're just going to continue to gather resources at this stage, but let's move on a little bit further. So we've now done a bit of exploring and we've bumped into the main town. Now this is probably as best as any place to get ourselves hooked up, really. There's a few stores we can check out. You're still early days at the moment. I wouldn't say it's necessity to try and get into these places and start looting them. You'll find that some of the zombies will be difficult to kill. You're certainly not geared for it. We want to try and avoid all the best we can, but there are certain things like this where you can read, and obviously that will that gives you a quest, that one. We put it on, but there's not really any need for it at this stage. But there are books and stuff like that, which basically are your schematics, which will allow you to build more things. You're going to need to find books for stuff like that. Now there's obviously, this is a food store, so we want to gain access to it to potentially get more food, and it's obviously going to increase our survivability. Now obviously there are zombies around, which you can hear within the game. Obviously I've turned the sound down on this, but there's definitely zombies there, I can tell you that now. Now they do pop up like that. Now you can see it is best advised to attack at ranged when you're such a low level. However, I find that because of the lag and just basically generally the way the game plays, the range side of things isn't brilliant. You'll notice they swing for you. If you're good enough and you're confident enough, move it away from that swing, you're not going to get hit, and I think that's the best way of of taking down zombies at the early stages. Obviously later stages you're going to get weaponry, you're going to get rifles, you're going to get pistols, you're going to get shotguns. All these things are going to be great for killing zombies. Now obviously we're still on day 1, we've still got plenty of time. We're just using the time to have a bit of a mooch around and see what we can find. This base location here, this is great. This is a 2-story building, which is what you're going to want when you come to survive the night of day 7. So it's quite reinforced already, so we can have a gander and a look around, but realistically we need somewhere smaller to start the night. We haven't got time really to reinforce that building yet, and we don't want to take it down early on, so we need to get ourselves set up somewhere out of town and then move into the town maybe tomorrow or the day later, just to basically 1, gather more resources, and 2, to secure one of them buildings that's got a 2-story on it. There's still no harm in obviously doing more looking around, more exploring and stuff like that, but we're going to now start looking at getting our base up for the night. We don't need anything special. I'd certainly say the kind of building I'm going to produce now will probably suffice for the first couple of nights, and it also acts as like a disaster location if you struggle to get to your main base when you are set up. Now if you notice, the ground around where we are is quite dry, that tells you you're in quite an arid, quite hot climate. Obviously when it's snowing and raining and stuff like that, it's going to be, you know, quite average, so you're not going to worry too much about that. But just bear in mind, the more armor you put on and stuff like that, the more chances you are of overheating. Now if you notice there, when the zombie was down, you get a 3 times bonus. That's worth noting when you are actually taking out zombies, that when they are not detecting you or they're down on the ground, it does give you that 3 time attack bonus, which obviously is quite useful when you're trying to kill the zombies as quick as you can, because that will allow you to get a massive damage boost. And obviously when you're looking at weapons at a later stage, that's just going to help us loads. So we're still gathering more resources while we're waiting for our frames to build up. Obviously, as you can see, we've got plant fibers now to do our bedroll, but I'm still not worrying about that too much. I'm just getting more and more resources. You can't, it's hard to stress that you cannot have too many. You've just got to keep grinding and grinding and grinding. When you start getting to the later stages of the game, then you're going to start looking at, you know, various other things like your metals and stuff like that, but you're going to come back to doing this, and you're getting plenty of wood, which is going to be great for us because we're going to start looking at building somewhere now. So we're just going to get this. Oh, another point to note as well, don't let the tree fall on you, it will kill you. I have found out the hard way. I've done a few gameplays where I've just had a bit of practice in. I'm by no means any expert on this game, but I've managed to survive a few of the sets for 7 days, just to basically learn how to play and how to, you know, gather, you know, some sort of idea on what I need to be doing to get myself set up. Now if you notice there, I repaired it. It's probably not best to repair it. It's probably better to rebuild, because as you repair it reduces basically the level of the axe, which makes it less useful. You're always better building if you can. I certainly say, you know, the amount that you're going to be building later on, you're only going to be needing 1. But we're starting to get dark now, so we want to be starting to think about getting ourselves set up for the night. All you're going to need is just a small room. It doesn't have to be massive. It doesn't need any doors or anything special or anything like that. It's literally going to be somewhere to hide at night and start building our construction tools. It's a bit of a nightmare when there's grass on the ground, so if you want to make it easier for yourself, I'd suggest just knocking the grass out, and it'll be much easier. As you can see, this is only small. I'm literally getting myself, oh yeah, that's another point, if you don't pick it up, it will just break. It needs to support its own weight, and it can't be supported in mid-air. That's the difference between this game and Minecraft, really. I mean, obviously, barring the fact that the Minecraft is obviously a lot less graphics in this game, its gameplay style is much the same. You know, you're getting yourself a base, to survive. And obviously the zombies here are a lot harder, and you can't build things in mid-air. However, it does have that Minecraft feel on it, which is great. Another thing to point out as well, if you notice, I'm only doing one upgrade on all of this. Save your wood, it only needs one, just to make sure the zombies can't see you through the wood frames. That's the last thing you need, is a zombie to see you, because then they're just going to batter it down and kill you. So you're going to be wanting to do this now. If you leave it till the night time, what's going to happen is you're going to attract the zombies, and the zombies are just going to murder you again. Either way you look at this, it all ends in death. So let's avoid the death and continue to build it up now. Now we're getting close on time here. It's starting to get dark, but we should be alright. All you're going to need is just something to put a roof over your head. That is all. You're not looking for anything that's looking great or anything like that. But as I say, it will be useful when you're out and about, and if you just can't quite make it, you can at least hide somewhere during your normal phases. What I will suggest is do not hide in something like this when it's the night of a 7-day cycle, because if you do, they will just smash it up and kill you, again resulting in death. So as you can see, it's a bit awkward trying to do corners when you're putting the walls up. I'm not entirely sure whether or not that does allow the zombies to see you, so let's play safe and get them upgraded. So I usually do them 4 first, and then I put the rest of the walls on. The other thing I do put on as well is a roof, because if it starts snowing or raining, then you're just going to get yourself wet, you're going to start shivering, and it's just going to be a pain in the ass. You're only going to need a small roof. So as you can see here, I don't do all the edges, just enough to cover me. And that's all you're going to need for this building. This is pretty much what it's going to look like. You're going to need to leave yourself an exit, which will be through the roof. It's probably the easier option. However, I do cover it up at night for the first night. There's no issues in doing that, as long as you know that you're going through the roof, because you don't want to be putting doors on it, because zombies tend to go to the doors and attack the doors. You can put a door on it if you want. There isn't anything to say you can't put a door on it. It's just, to me, it's wasting. You're not going to need it. As I say, you're not going to need this area here anytime soon to hold off much. You're just going to need it to hide you. That's all you're doing, is hiding yourself. As you can see, the night time is coming in now, so you don't want to be doing this at night time, because the sound will attract the zombies. Now, the difference between day and night, these zombies tend to run at night, which means you're not going to get away from them, and obviously they're just going to molest you, and it's going to end in your death. Lots of things end in your death. Now, you're going to be able to obviously build plenty of axes and stuff like that in this time, because they're being done in the inventory, and that sound isn't obviously something the zombies can hear, thankfully. So you're going to be wanting to use the night time to upgrade all your weaponry. Sometimes it's a little bit awkward to get things, so just, as you can see there, whack it out of your way. Okay, so that's the principle of what you're going to have. Once that night time rocks in, you want to stop building it. So there you go. Now, you do have a player level, which obviously grants you player points. You want to be saving them for the first night, certainly. That sound that you just heard then is the sign that we are now at night time. It happens at 8 o'clock every night, 8 till 6. And you're going to want to make sure you start building up now. Completing the quest is whack the bed down. You know, it's things like this that you're going to be able to do whilst you're obviously hiding from the zombies. Always safe to put a crate down, because then you can whack all your gear in it, give yourself more space for tomorrow, because again, tomorrow's going to be another grinding day. And also we're going to be checking out the other buildings, hopefully, and seeing whether or not we can get ourselves placed somewhere nice and tidy, and get ourselves on a level 2 building, which gives us more options of obviously making it out there alive. Obviously, but level 2 buildings that we've seen have got flat roofs, so that's going to be great and useful for us to formulate escape plans. So get yourself emptied, get all the stuff you don't need at the moment into this chest, and then start building as much materials as you can, and that's going to be what your night's going to entail on the first one. So as you can see here, we're going to look at the stone axes, build as many as you can that you can hold. Now you can do it one of two ways. You can either just drop them as they're being built, or you can scrap them and get some of your stone back. I chose to scrap mine and get some of my stone back. It does take a little bit longer, but I mean, you've got plenty of time to burn anyway, so why not do that? And that's it. That's your first night, really. So I'm not going to bore you with staring at the axes being built. I'm going to end day 1 here, and we are going to come back into day 2. So please give this video a like and a thumbs up, and make sure you watch day 2 and see how it's going. Thank you very much, everybody.